Welcome back to the ICL. This week is week 4, and we are going up against Rissoux. I believe that's how you pronounce it, coach of the Oklahoma HeatMoores. And this is an interesting battle. My opponent has yet to play their week 3 of this recording. But in their first 2 matches, they lost 6-0 to Calm Mind Sweepers. And so, looking at my team, that would either be Infernape or Florges. But even then, those two, Calm Mind and Infernape will just get bought by something like Mega Aerodactyl. Florges might stand a chance. But there is that Cobalion, and I feel like Cobalion has a good matchup here. Anywho's, his team is quite threatening to mine, mainly because he does have that Mega Aerodactyl and Zero really fast months that can easily just run Modest or Adamant and do a lot of damage. But I am kind of have a team to just sort of deal with that, knowing that he would run Adamant or Modest, not speed boost in nature, basically. And yeah, Mega Aerodactyl, really fast boy, could easily have Taunt on it to taunt stuff like my Snorlax or my Donphan, or Florges even, maybe my Regirock, just to stop me from setting up, or to defog off of Florges, or get wishes off of Florges, stop Snorlax from doing setup, which is main reason Snorlax is kind of a threat. Using Aerial Ace and Tough Claws does a lot of damage to Alolan Pinsir, Infernape. Stone Edge is real nice for Gyarados before it evolves, or Mega Evolves. Useful for that Frostless and Thundurus Incarnate. And yeah, really powerhouse. Would also probably most likely see something like Earthquake on it to hit Metagross and Regirock. Could even have Roost, since it is so fast, we'll be able to get that Roost off before like a Thunderbolt from Thundurus. If he is worried about that, Hydreigon is offensive Z user. With its speed, it outspeeds a good chunk of my Mons. Even Modest outspeed or speed tides Pinsir at Jolly Max speed. Could easily also been run Scarf or Specs. If it is Scarf, then I take less damage and it's easier to deal with. Specs could be a problem, but once again, it's choiced into something. If it choices something into like a Draco Meteor, I have things like Metagross or Florges on my team that can easily switch into them. If it choices itself into something like Dark Pulse, I do have that Mega Gyarados, which would then be able to easily set up. So you'd have to be worried about that. But even still, it does do a lot of damage in specific situations. Could easily also be scarfed into U-turn. Could even actually be run physical. Physical would be quite an interesting bring, but actually might do a lot. Believe it does get Gunk Shot for Florges. Can get superpowered to hit that Mega Gyarados. And then with something like Outrage and then U-turn. Don't know off the top of my head its physical dark moves. Think it might get Throat Chop but I could easily be wrong on that. But Dark, not all that useful against me. Um, sure, it's Metagross and Frostlass, but those he can easily deal with other mons. So Uxie, a great wall both physically and specially. Could easily see it with like a Culpa Berry with Thunder Wave to try and slow my Mega Gyarados down if he is expecting me to bring a DD set, which is usually what Mega Gyarados does bring. Or maybe even Toxic with Culpa Berry just to get the whittle on it, make sure it gets knocked out. Could see U-turn on it, could see rocks on it, could actually even see screens on it because, as you, well, not known when I'm recording this, I have yet to upload my week 3 battles, but they should be uploaded before this. Sorry for delay on that. Got busy IRL stuff. But anyways, as of week 3, I did lose 2 because of light screen on Rotom-Mow, allowing Azumarill to set up. Played way too passively that game. And yeah, so could easily see screens on it, could see rocks, could see U-turn, Thunder Wave, could see foul play on it, possibly. And yeah, nice bulky defensive pivot. Does get Memento as well, I believe, so could lower my stats with that. Decidueye, great for getting rid of hazards, even though his team isn't really hazards weak with Defog. Also gets screens, gets Roost, quite bulky. Doesn't take my offensive threats. Stab really nice from Infernape and Mega Gyarados though. Fernandez doesn't really have to worry about that since its best flying move is something like Fly or Hidden Power Flying. But Anywho's does get set up with Swords Dance, and I believe it gets Calm Mind. Or no, not Calm Mind, Nasty Plot. It does get Nasty Plot. And it does get Baton Pass. Could also be a Tailwind U-turn support. If he wants to make sure that he definitely outspeeds me, even though his mons sort of already do outspeed me. Alrighty. Aromatisse is a nice bulky boy. Definitely expecting something with like leftover Swish Moonblast, physically defensive. Great check to my Mega Gyarados. That way, as well as my Infernape, if Infernape doesn't run Gunk Shot or something like that for it. So Wish, Moonblast, Protect, Standard Aromatisse, maybe even something like a Reflect, or maybe something like Toxic or Thunder Wave, maybe Aromatherapy or Heal Bell. It gets one of those cleansing moves, but maybe one of those if he's worried about statuses on his team. Kecleon would be brought. I don't really see why Kecleon would be brought, but does get the ability to change its type to Stab for its moves. Does get Sucker Punch, which I don't really see Sucker Punch being all that useful against me. Does get Stealth Rocks. Kecleon is more of an AV bringer. I usually tend to see without rocks if it's brought offensively and used more against special attacking teams, and my team is not really specially attacking, so don't really see Kecleon being brought. It's also really slow, and only thing it outspeeds on my team is a Snorlax, and it doesn't really do much to Snorlax anyways, so yeah, don't really expect seeing Kecleon being brought. Nidoking, quite offensive. Um, could easily see physical with something like superpower, maybe mixed. Um, Poison Jab might not be a bad bring since he did lose to the Calm Mind Clefable week 2. So he might be worried about me doing something with floor just like that. So might be running physical so Calm Mind does not beat him again. But probably more likely to see something like special with like Thunderbolt, um, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, and last move probably something like Ice Beam or Flamethrower, something to hit something like Alolaneki or the Pinsir. Ice Beam would probably be more for Donphan though. Could see it Scarf to outspeed my Gyarados if it is running like a physical set, since Mega Gyarados is more especially bulky. We do have, he does have Araquanid for webs, but he does not actually have a Rapid Spinner on his team, so if he does set up webs, he would kind of need to start hazard stacking me, and hazard stacking isn't really the best against me. Since I do believe I have what I think is actually the best Rapid Spinner in the game in Donphan. Yeah, so don't could Araquanid though offensively does actually do pretty good. Liquidation is nice for my rockers, main rockers in Donphan and Regirock. Sticky Webs would guarantee that he outspeeds my Mons, even if they're Scarfers, unless it's like Thunderous Eye. As well as to possibly help speed control the Mega Gyarados from DD, and if it's Mega good and then comes in on the webs, could easily. Well, I'm actually expecting if it is brought to have something like Lunge to lower my attacks, since most of my Mons are physical attackers. Besides that, could have something like Wakam Berry, which is the electric reducing berry, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And Mirror Coat could easily see Toxic Rest on it. But yeah, definitely Liquidation. Definitely Sticky Webs if it is brought. Zera is his All-Z user. Probably more likely for something like Z-Bulk up to get the +2 attack. Quite threatening. Plasma Fist does do a lot of damage against my Mons, plus the close combat. Easily could see Titanium Z on it, just to guarantee knockout something like the Regirock or Mega Gyarados or Snorlax. Could see it mixed with Grass Knot for Regirock and Donphan, and Hidden Power Ice for something like Thundurus and Alolaneki. Maybe even Donphan Pinsir. Could see it with pivoting moves such as Volt Switch. I think it gets U-turn, but I could be mistaken that with some other mod. We'll have to look into that. But quite threatening. We'll have to try and figure out if it is special, physical, or mixed. But I feel it kind of has 4-move syndrome, this match. So I should be good dealing with that. Porygon Z, especially attacking choice specs, most likely what I see. Try attack, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and some other move, maybe a bulkier set with Recover. Could easily see Agility, Nasty Plot with something like Try Attack. No, Focus. I might actually see Focus Blast on it just for Snorlax. Even that's kind of risky. Probably won't see the Porygon Z, but if I do, expecting something like maybe even Trick on it to trick specs onto something that my team does not want specs, like maybe Donphin or Snorlax, maybe my Regirock, or maybe a Choice Scarf onto them. And last but not least, Cobalion. Definitely expecting to see this. Great counter to my Mega Gyarados. Helps deal with my Florges if it is something like a Calm Mind setup sweeper that he's been struggling with. Could easily see Magnet Rise on it to get rid of its ground weakness. Because then it walls something like Mega Gyarados quite nicely if it is bulky. Expecting the close combat Iron Head. Could have Volt Switch for pivoting. Could have Swords Dance for setup to blow back my team. And then like Magnet Rise to make sure that Donphin doesn't blow it back. And yeah, so that is what I think about his team. If I were to say 6 Mons to be brought, Mega Aerodactyl, Zeraora, Cobalion, Yuxi, Aromatisse, and last one would probably be between something like the Nidoqueen or Arachnid. So yeah, now to get into my team. Oop. Don't know when that moved down, but boop. We have King Moki, the Snorlax. I have Papa Bear, Immunity, Toxic Toss, Recycle, Curse. This is more of a stalling set to Toxic Stall some of his bulkier Mons. Get Chip off with Seismic Toss. Make sure I have the physical defenses to take on his physical attackers. Already have enough Spadef to take on stuff like the Hydreigon or the Porygon Z. And then recycle. I have Papa Berry to stay healthy, since once I start setting up curses, there aren't things that can put me into a range where I have to worry about not getting my 50% berry at the 25% health range. We have Pikachu, the yellow Florges, Spadef, bulky variant, just in case he does. Sort of worried about, just in case, for special Zera as well as the Hydreigon. If Hydreigon locks itself into something, this can deal with it nicely. I was actually thinking about bringing a Calm Mind set, but kind of need Wish and Defog this time around. Could have had it instead of Toxic, but his walls could easily just Toxic Stall me. Since I can't run something like Rest and it doesn't have magic, like the Suicune that swept in week 1, or Magic Guard like Clefable week 2. So that is why I am bringing this kind of Florges, which is also nice. Keep stuff like my pincer healthy and my Infernape healthy, especially more likely for the Infernape, because Infernape is probably going to be my lead unless I'm expecting him to lead something like the Araquanid. Because I do want these Stealth Rocks up enough speed to outspeed the Hydreigon if it is not Scarf. Close Combat Flare Blitz is nice with dealing with his faster mons if they are led like Zera or the Mega Aerodactyl. Can then take the hit and bippity bop him. You turn for pivoting. Stealth Rocks is to help put things into range for my pincer, as well as a few things for, well, not really Gyarados, but mainly for pincer. Pincer enough speed to outspeed Zera at -1. Could have put enough speed to outspeed Mega Aerodactyl no matter what at -1 from that Rock Tomb. But I do need like the HP investment to guaranteed live a Specs attack from Porygon Z, as well as the Hydreigon. If it is Specs, well, not actually Specs, if it's modest, something like Scarf, will be able to take the hit then. If it drops like a Draco or a Fire Blast on me, I should be fine. If I don't, then I know it's Specs or like attack boosting item. X-Scissor is real nice for hitting things like the Uxie, which is a bulky wall stopping something like my Mega Gyarados from sweeping. Close Combat is nice to hit Mega Aerodactyl after a Rock Tomb will knock it out. Close Combat is also nice for Cobalion and Porygon. See? Also, why I'm bringing Pincer instead of something like Thundurus, which I think has great offensive presence this week, is because I do need something to take a hit from Cobalion. Since the rest of my mons do not like taking steel fighting except for Infernape, but Infernape's not that bulky. And could see something like Earthquake coming on the Cobalion. Could see something like Stone Edge on it too, but But Earthquake is nice for Zera. Should not be able to be knocked out from Zera unless it's using something like a Z move. But I can scout for that with something like my Florges or my Regirock or Snorlax. Earthquake is nice for the Nidoking. And yeah, hopefully can take a hit and knock something out, get that attack boost. Next up, Grand Marge, the Regirock, weakness policy. Might lead with this just to bluff something like a rock set, and then take the super effective hit as I rock polish. Enough speed to outspeed his entire team at +2. I believe I do outspeed Mega Aerodactyl, Jolly, max speed. Or it might just, I don't remember. Built this team a while ago for the Zero max speed, but if it does outspeed Zero max speed, it probably would outspeed the Aerodactyl, since I don't expect Aerodactyl to have all that amount of speed just to outspeed something like this or a Scarf. But with this coverage, will bippity bop his entire team except for Yuxi, which is also kind of why I'm bringing Pinsir to make sure that Yuxi does get chipped. And last but not least, I am bringing Deadliest, the Mega Gyarados. Should be able to two-shot everything at +1. Does one-shot important things like the Nidoking and Zera, unless Zera has a Shuka Berry. Should be able to one-shot Cobalion unless it's Shuka Berry, or if it is bulky. I think some very defensively bulky variants can take a +1 Earthquake. Could actually see, now that I'm thinking about Shuka on Cobalion, so that I can take on the Mega Gyarados, or maybe even a Scarf on that to make sure it outspeeds a +1 and can bippity bop it as like a revenge killer. And that is my team. Hopefully we win this one and redeem ourselves for week 3, which was a poor showing on our part. And yeah, so catch you in the battle. Bye bye.